In this video, I will show you how to make Claude Code more efficient using the free tier of the Gemini CLI. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Natalie. I'm a professional software engineer, and in my free time, I love to dabble with vibe coding. We will start with a quick overview of what you need before you can integrate Gemini CLI into Claude Code. Then we will generate a claude.md file specific to your code base. Look over a claude.md file from a Reddit post where I got all of this from, and then we will get Claude Code to update the generated claude.md file with the specific Gemini commands. Gemini CLI was just recently released a few weeks ago as of the filming of this video. It's a wonderful tool. It has an incredibly large context window. The Gemini API provides a free tier with 100 requests per day using Gemini 2.5 Pro, which is amazing. It gives you control over which model you use, and of course, you can always access higher rate limits with a paid plan. Before you can use it, make sure you have Node.js version 20 or higher installed on your system, and then run the CLI installation script. Or you can simply install it with npm install -g add google/gemini-cli, and then start up the CLI with Gemini. But in this video, we will let Claude start it up for us. For me, the discovery came from finding this really funny thread on Reddit called Gemini CLI is awesome, but only when you make Claude Code use it as its bitch. And it makes some great points about how if you just pipe in Gemini CLI into the claude.md file, you can get so much more use out of both Claude Code and Gemini CLI, and overall, it will be much better for your product. Here, I'm just going to start up a new Astro project. Here I can start up Claude, and now I can init the claude.md file with /init, and here it's giving us an outline what it's put in the claude.md file, so let's take a quick look. I've created the claude.md file with guidance for future instances of Claude Code working with this project. The file includes essential commands, all the key npm scripts for development, building, and previewing, architecture overview, file-based routing system, component structure and how Astro components work, directory organization and their purposes, TypeScript configuration details. The document focuses on the high-level architecture workflow pattern specific to Astro, avoiding generic advice while providing the essential information needed to be productive in this codebase. Let's take a look. Project overview, development commands, Astro CLI commands. This is great. Architecture and structure. So a lot of this stuff, the architecture analysis can be done with Gemini, so you're saving your Claude Code tokens, which is what I prefer to do, especially because Claude Code becomes overloaded a lot recently. So I find it really helpful to use a different CLI for that. Let me paste the claude.md file that I found on Reddit into my repo, and let's have a look at it here. So basically, we are directing Claude to use Gemini CLI for large code bases and multiple files that might exceed context limits. It includes examples, how to analyze a specific file, multiple files, entire directory, multiple directories, current directory, or use the --all files flag. Then it also directs Claude to use Gemini to verify if a feature is implemented, which is incredibly useful. And here we go, when to use Gemini CLI. Use Gemini-P when analyzing entire code bases or large directories, comparing multiple large files, need to understand project-wide patterns or architecture. Current context window is insufficient for the task. Working with files totaling more than 100 kilobytes, which honestly isn't that much. Okay, important notes. I really like this one. Gemini's context window can handle entire code bases that would overflow Claude's context. So it's really interesting that we're telling Claude this directly. Now that we have both the generated claude.md for the specific repository and the custom one, let's see how we can mishmash them together. Let's say read our custom Reddit claude.md file and update the generated claude.md file with the Gemini specific commands. Make no other code changes. I love these. It's taking a while. Alright, here we go. I've successfully updated the claude.md file by adding the Gemini CLI section from the Reddit file. The update includes all the things that we talked about. Let's take a look. Should have probably committed this first. That's okay. Here we go. Here it is. Using Gemini CLI for large code base analysis. Okay, and now that we've added the Gemini CLI to claude.md, it will usually use it, but sometimes it does forget, I noticed. So what I like to do is just prefix my commands with use Gemini too, especially if I'm implementing a bigger feature that would affect the whole code base. Let's say I want to implement authentication, so I would need to protect routes and current components and all of that. I would say something like use Gemini to analyze the current architecture and plan how to implement application-wide authentication to protect all routes except for /login. And then I usually say put this plan into a markdown file and pause for my feedback. To learn more about how to plan better with Claude Code and markdown files, watch this next video.